Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Bant Beanstalk with Malevolent Rumble. This is an awesome card where you get to look at the top 4 cards of your library, and you can put 3 of them into the graveyard and 1 permanent into your hand. This is great for fueling life from the loam, Uro, and potentially making a faster arrival of your Murktides. So this is a Beanstalk deck, and we have 11 cards that trigger Beanstalk. We have 4 Force of Will, 4 Leyline Binding, and 3 Murktide. But we also have some other creatures. We have Uro to keep us alive and to generate value, and we have Endurance, which is just really strong. You do want to be able to respect people's graveyards because there are things like Emery, there are Delver decks, there are, of course, Dredge and things like that. And just having main deck answers, especially when we have this many green cards, that we can potentially even pitch cast Endurance to deal with like Oops All spells or things like that. Yeah, it's pretty good card right now, and it's a reasonable beater, and it stops all the Delver threats and things like that. So I think this card is going to come up quite a bit. This deck, this exact build, I'm happy to report that somebody on Discord that I've been talking with has already trophied with it. I'm going to read what they said. They said, just 5-0'd with your list. I won against Delver, Omnitel, Jewel Shop, not Jewel Shops, but like Coveted Jewel, Green White Depths, and Blue Black Death Shadow. And the synergies in the deck are nuts. Now, they did get to go against Blue Black Death Shadow, which is probably like the closest thing you can get to like a 90-10 type matchup. Incredibly favorable matchup. But the important thing to note here is that we have a lot of tools for pretty much every matchup. We've got, first of all, we've got great mana. We have Karakas. We have all 3 basics in our colors. We have a single land that turns on domain to make our Leyline Binding cost 1 mana instead of 3 mana. And even at 3 mana, it's not that bad. I mean, it triggers the Beanstalk, but you really do want to be paying 1 mana for it if you can. And then we even have 2 Wastelands to go with our Loam, and I often do win by waste-locking greedy opponents that don't play basics. We also have the 2 Wrath of the Skies. These are really good against Urza's Saga decks. We've got the 4 Force Negations. You have to have these really against Oops All spells. It's the best thing you can be doing against Oops All spells if you're not willing to put Leyline of the Void in your sideboard, and I'm not. 3 Hydroblast for blue decks. 2 Carpets, which are really good against Tempo decks. We've got a Ground Seal, which is kind of a Band-Aid solution for graveyard strategies. It's certainly not as good an answer as like a Grafdigger's Cage, but we can't play Grafdigger's Cage because of Uro. And then we have Lavinia for big combo, and we have No Rod for big combo for the most part. This also comes in against Painter. When I say big combo, like I'm talking about like Omnitel, where they're getting Omniscience out, and this just stops all this stuff. This is also pretty good against Cephalid Breakfast because it stops them from being able to cast Dread Return and Memory. They can cast Memory Journey, but it makes it harder for them to win for sure. So again, I think this list is going to be very well-rounded against the entire meta. I have a comprehensive sideboard guide in the description that we'll be referencing throughout the league, and I'm excited to, escape some Uros and beat some face with Murktide and draw a ton of cards. See you in round 1. All right, round 1. Unfortunately, it looks like they need to fix the SSL certificate on MTG Goldfish. So I have no idea what my opponent is playing. We're going to keep them in the blind and hope that they're not on a combo deck because this is a great hand. And I always recommend looking up what people are playing. I think we can just surveil here. And we can also hold up Plow. That might be relevant. It probably won't be. But I don't like to cast Ponder without knowing what I'm looking for. I mean, you can always Ponder just looking for a force. Okay. This may be blue-black tempo. But I feel like we have a license to grab a fetch here, a surveil. And we won't have access to white, but eventually we'll find white. I'm definitely going to rumble here. I think we're far enough away from that we can just put it in our graveyard, have it be food for Uro. We have given our opponent quite a bit of insight into what we're doing over here, though. We drew another one. Well, I'm glad I put it in the graveyard. I think I am going to rumble here, and I'm just going to hope that they're not on a combo deck. They're on Doomsday. They could be on just like Reanimator. Like they took away Troll, but that doesn't mean the archetype is dead. All right. Unfortunately, we're just getting a fetch, but that does get our green source. We have more than enough material to escape Uro next turn. Okay, they're just playing lands. This is not a tempo deck. This is some sort of Maybe like a Doomsday deck, but they haven't casted anything. It's crazy. They may have Bowmaster. So what we want to ask is, if we Uro and they get a Bowmaster ping, is that a big deal? I don't think it is. I think I'm going to go ahead and use the mana. Yeah, just so I can assess what's happening, I'm going to use this mana. So let's go ahead and Uro this way. And I bet you there's a Bowmaster in our future. Right on schedule. Okay, so if I wait, I can ensure that this dies, and I do want to ensure that it dies. And when I say ensure, like I can play around days. I can go grab a Plains and just ensure, like get our basics under us since we're up against tempo. I can wait until their turn to Plow. That does give them like Sink into Super, maybe a few other things. Yeah, I think I'll just pass. So what I'm hoping to do is just, if I grab basic Plains, actually, then they can waste us. So I don't think I should grab basic Plains because I do need to be able to return Uro. Okay, they're coming in for a hug, and this is where I'll just go for the Plow. And if the Plow doesn't work, I will, please don't have like opposition agent. Okay. I mean, I could have fetched again, so it's not that big a deal. Yeah, I'm not going to play on basics. I'm going to go ahead and Plow here. And the reason, again, I'm not playing on basics is I want to be able to return Uro next turn. So we can return Uro around days here. Tamiyo's fine. Even if they flip her, I'm not that worried. If they attack, we could get an endurance snack. Murktide's pretty freaking solid too. I would be surprised if they can deal with Murktide. But let's go ahead and get Uro back. Green, green, blue. Oh, let's think about this. I mean, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But if they like Fatal Push and they're swinging, I think we're good. I'll go green, green, blue, blue. Let's get Uro. We'll exile a land, enchantment, sorcery, instant, done. Okay, this is where their other Bowmasters comes in. But we do have an Uro, even if they have like a giant orc. Oh, Fatal Push. That's fine. I'd much rather deal with a Fatal Push than a second Bowmaster. Okay, so options. One, we could just, I think we just hold up Force with Ponder and we don't have to worry about days. Then we do have Merc next turn if we want. We could just re-escape Uro pretty easily. Could they get a clue? Having this Leyline Binding in our hand feels great. I would like to draw a Beanstalk before I start casting these, but yeah, that's fine. I think I'll just go get the, unless they play a Wasteland, I think I'll just go get the one that reduces the cost. The Lounge, Xander's Lounge. I was so excited yesterday talking about the Xander's Lounge that I actually like was just blathering and I kept like a suboptimal hand without really looking at it because I was like, oh, Xander's Lounge, so cool. Okay, so options. I think we can just exile this. We can do that for 1 mana. I would like to find a... So there we go. That's what I want. I wanted to get a Beanstalk first. Now we can Beanstalk. I will force to defend this. They may have a main deck Force of Negation here, or like I will stop a Bowmaster here. Okay, they're activating Clue. Okay, this is in. Brainstorming in response. Okay, that's fine. Spin those wheels. Once this resolves, I think we'll be in a pretty dominant position. I'm not going to stick a Murktide into a Daze. I've been very careful about playing around Daze this entire time. Okay, we're in. That's phenomenal. So we could Rumble, but we wouldn't have mana left. I could go ahead and Ponder while I don't have to worry. Let's see. That's our pitch to Force, though. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Leyline Bind. Draw a card. We'll take out the Tamiyo here. They can get this back if they have a Brazen Borrower. And then we could go ahead and Ponder. I actually kind of want to Brainstorm here just to get it out of my hand. And then we should hit a land. Okay, we do. Okay. And now I can put back... I mean, I can Force Pitch Redundant Uro. Yeah, I'm not too worried. I can actually stack it like this, and then Malevolent Rumble can get Endurance next turn. Yeah. So now we have Daze Protected Force, which will cantrip. We're feeling pretty good. Like Beanstalk, like getting your Beanstalk on the ground makes you feel pretty good. I just force this. I think I'm going to force because this has my last Plow in hand. They could go ahead and Bowmaster here, but it's not that big of a deal. All right. We stopped it. Now they can waste our Xander's Lounge probably. Okay, I'll just float. They may have another Thoughtseize. They're just trying to get us to fall for days. But again, I'm not gonna play into days this entire game. There's no need to. We've got so much going on over here. Barragoyf's fine. We'll just plow that. I think we plow that and we just murk. Should we murk first? We might draw a force. Blue. Murktide. Exile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty big Murktide. Like the biggest you can make it basically. Draw trigger. Okay, Wasteland. Not super useful. I will play it though, just to have a land. And then I think we can plow. I think if they had a force, they probably would have forced that. Okay, and then we can just rumble. So we did already draw the endurance off the top. I think second Beanstalk is fine. And we, again, not playing into their cards. Now, we've used all 4 of our plows, so we're going to have to lean heavily on Leyline Binding. But, I mean, we have... That's fine. We did get a draw trigger off of it. They can come in for hug. I'll just bring back Uro next turn. Maybe I should Murk again. Yeah, they're brainstorming very aggressively to Flipper. They can regrow nothing that deals with Murktide. So Murktide is going to be smaller. But we get a draw trigger. We'll get double draw trigger, actually. I'm going to play the Beanstalk first. They've tapped out of green, Beanstalk, draw trigger. Okay, let's go ahead and Beanstalk again. I don't think we're going to draw our deck. I think we have plenty of ways to win before that. Force is a great rip. Let's go get a land. A trop here, and then we'll go blue, Murk. Draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I'm just going to max it out. 1, 2, 1, 2, blue. I'll keep my spawn token around. Draw 3 cards. Leyline Binding, that's a good one. Brainstorm, that's a good one. Strand, that does get our island. We can't play it this turn. I can go ahead and just bind now. I'll wait till they're upkeep so I don't have to discard. And we do have Daze Protection with this spawn. The game is incredibly over. I'm going to force that. Pitch this Brainstorm. I don't want to draw more cards if I can avoid it. Like I could actually deck myself. I have this Endurance though. It'll only save us for a few turns. Okay, so they're Hellbent. They're losing their Tamiyo. I'm really playing against the clock, and I imagine that's why they're still playing, because they're so far behind. But they can play to the clock. This is a legal play. I can Murk again and get a giant Murk. Okay. They have their own giant Murk, but my Murk's going to be bigger. All right. What do we do here? I think the simple thing, we can just gain some life and deploy some lands. Green, blue, colorless, Uro. Some cards. I'll play this. Okay. Now I can play out this and go get an island. Okay. And let's see. Currently, we need to put some... We'll ponder a couple times just to put cards in our graveyard. Any order shuffled. Okay, and then I'll do it again. Shuffle. Okay, so I need to endurance myself. I think I Murk to make a big Murk, and then I endurance myself, and then I can Leyline Bind. Blue. 1, 2, 3. Blue. This will make my Murk bigger. Manually put these on the stack, I guess. There's like a way you can like F6 through these, I think. Okay, now I'll just endurance myself. So I have lots of cards. And now I can just go ahead and Leyline Bind. I am going to draw some more cards here. But I can endurance myself yet again if I need to. And hit that. Go to combat. And then I can discard a bunch of cards and then I can endurance myself just to make sure I don't die to my beat. That's one nice thing about playing main deck endurance. And we have force for the next card. So we've won. It's just we have to do it efficiently. Okay. They don't have good attacks. They conceded finally. Yeah, endurance is great. Like it was a night because if we had to cast a force, we'd be getting dangerously low on cards. Okay, so against blue black tempo, we bring in carpets, bring in prismatic ending, quite good against them, And here's what we cut. Okay, so here I have blue-black tempo, -2 waste, -1 Tamiyo, +2 carpet 1, +1 PE. And you saw me not using those wastelands at all. They're much better upgraded to carpets. And Tamiyo is fine, but I like to keep the Loam in just because if they waste a whole lot, then you just undo a lot of their wastes. The deck's kind of already pre-boarded for this matchup, but the carpets are a nice addition that we couldn't do before because we had to have so many slots dedicated to Eldrazi. This is a shuffle. I don't like to keep hands that don't have action. This is very close to being good enough, but there's a serious risk that they just waste us and we lose. I'm going to mulligan this again. All right, we're rewarded for our disciplined mulligans. So here, I'm going to put back the Tundra. We're going to go get a basic forest here and Leyline Binding back. If they open with a Thoughtseize, that'll be pretty brutal. And that should be what they open with if they have the option. All right, we're lucky. I'm not going to... they can just fetch a swamp and not play this, but every turn it's in my hand, it's vulnerable. So I'll get forest here. Then next turn I'll get a island. They can daze this. They can force it. They do neither. They're just going to let it be a game piece for the rest of the game. I don't think they have an answer to it. They can just chill and not cast anything for the free. So I'm just going to use the ability just so I don't get a trigger. Sure. Okay, and now I'll play this and I'll pass. They're fetching. Okay. It looks like they're going to go ahead and do a Bowmasters, which is fine. I think it's fine to go ahead and just get a Plains here. No, I'm going to get a blue source. I'll get a Tundra, but I am going to want to get rid of that before the... Okay, they've already played out their land. I'm just going to get a Tundra here, so I have my colors. Do this to decrease the amount of damage we're taking, because that is like how they get you. I mean, they are a tempo deck, so if you can slow them down, that goes... Okay, so I'm going to click OK. Yes, I want to add blue here. I'll play out a land, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with Beanstalk, and then if they have a response, I can brainstorm. Force of Will. Well, I'm certainly inclined to go ahead and brainstorm here. There is some risk, but if we find a force of our own, it's pretty good. Okay, we did. So I'm going to force to protect. I don't want this Tundra ever, really. I'll put the Merc back. That way I can force pitch. All right, we're in. And they would have Bowmastered by now if they had it. So I should have actually stacked it differently to where I drew this next turn, because this is going to be a very good play. And if they Thoughtseize it, it'll break my heart. Okay, there's Barragoyf. That's rough. They've got one card in hand. We're about to have two. They can't Bowmaster my Merc. They are not wasting me, which wouldn't. So let's go ahead and do, okay, yes, I'm going to add blue. And then I will go ahead and play this out, and just in case I need the mana for some reason. And then we'll just go, do we want to get all our full graveyard? I don't think we necessarily need to. And we'll see what we draw. Okay, drew a Hedge Maze. I probably would have played that out instead of the Tundra. All right, so Barragoyf is going to start connecting, but we're going to be beating them down for 6. They may have a way to remove this. They are, on the play, tempoing us. I actually think we just trade with Barragoyf here when they swing. It sucks, but like them getting card advantage is pretty bad. And if I was going to do that, like I probably didn't need to throw away all our instants to sorceries. I think we're still in a favorable position, but we'll see if they have another Barragoyf. Okay, pondering. I'm just going to have 6 through their turn to save clock. There's a Now Spellbomb. They're welcome to hit our graveyard if they'd like. Yes, I would like to add some green. I'm going to go ahead and Beanstalk now. Do you have the Bowmaster? They're playing a dangerous game, letting me resolve these. Okay. I think Ponder's fine here. Ponder with one of these. We're looking for like a Leyline Binding would be pretty good. Malevolent Rumble's pretty good too. Next turn we could Uro. Yeah, I think I Rumble and I just get the Uro. No, actually I can't. Not without playing in a daze. They have one card left in hand and they just Ponder. I doubt it would be a daze. Let's see if it's a daze. If it is, then I'm just going to draw. Okay, so I'll just take this Murktide here and we can just hardcast it and draw a card next turn, even if they go for our graveyard. I'm going to play this out. Top that. That's very good. Okay. We'll draw 3 cards next turn. So, yeah, that's fine. Like, you're going to keep our Merc from being big, but it's still going to be a Null Drifter. Or a Mole Drifter. The original Drifter. So F6 here. Take the damage. Like, a Bowmasters would be annoying here. Okay, Kaito's not the end of the world. I think we can overpower a Kaito. They have 2 cards in hand. They're going to get another one. They have so many islands that we can cast this just from hand. Okay, island. All right. I think they may have found a Bowmaster, is what I'm reading. Got some blue. Blue, colorless, blue. I'll just pay for it. And they're going to Bowmaster, and it's going to be a lot of pressure for sure. Oh, okay. Well, that is very good for us. Leyline Binding is great. I think I'm going to go ahead and go for the Leyline Binding here just to get rid of this. Draw 3 more cards. Lost your Kaito. Assuming this resolves and you don't have like some sort of stifle effect. They could consign it, but I can't imagine consign being correct. We'll take that Kaito. Yoink. I can force a consign with replicate. Replicate resolves. I'll just force it twice. Draw a bunch of cards. There's a good chance that I find a blue card off of this. Okay. We're in business. Okay, now the question becomes, what do we pitch? I think we probably pitch the Merc. We're going to draw 3 more cards. I mean, we'll find another threat. Oh, I targeted the wrong one. Oh, now I'm going to have to force a 3rd time. Did I target my own force? Oh, I targeted my own force. That was such a punt. Okay, well, yeah, that's embarrassing. Very embarrassing. Okay, so I'm just going to play this out, and we're going to pretend that that didn't happen. All right, so Endurance is still good. They will probably stun and just attack and keep the pressure on. But I have another Leyline Binding. I could just throw this material away. I think it's fine. And prevent them from being able to surveil. They can still surveil if they have a Bowmaster, but I'll force a Bowmaster. 25 cards in the deck. Harbinger. We just go get a... Well, I can just force it, I think. Let's force pitching one of these Brainstorms. Is that all 4 of our forces used? It might be. It's not that big of a deal, but like it is additional material that we have to worry about. Okay, and I did lose life there, so they do get to surveil, which is nice. They're playing very well, but it is an uphill matchup for them for sure. Okay, I'm just gonna go get the one that like makes all my cards easier to cast. Okay, 7 minutes on the clock. We have to win this game, I think, and I think we can. Go okay. Yes. I'll just add some green. Okay, and then I can go ahead and endurance them. We'll see whether they have another ley line. Force of negation. Okay. So I'll draw 3 cards. I may draw another ley line. Let's just ley line again. I do have another endurance that I can target myself with. Okay, they scooped. Yeah, we had it. Like, that's just generally how the game goes. When you get your beanstalks out, you just outvalue your opponent. See you in round 2. Round 2, we're up against an unknown opponent, Sneaky Cat. We're on the play. This hand, I think, is not keepable because we need more mana. I don't want to throw out a Tamiyo, get wasted, and just sit there. This hand's fine. This has Beanstalk and Leyline Binding. We can just throw back one of the lands. Basic planes might be important. Let's think about this. Yeah, we need to get Savannah and the other thing if we want to be able to go up the Beanstalk. So I'll do that. I'll keep the Caracas just in case it's randomly good. Sometimes it's randomly good against opposing Tamiyos. Or if they're on Nadu, then it's good. Opponent has mulliganed, which makes me wonder if I should have mulliganed more aggressively, but yeah, I can get either land that I need. So I'll start with the Flooded Strange just in case I need to fetch a basic plains and Plow for some reason. That's unlikely. But if they're on like a creature deck and if it's like a 80 card, well, I mean, this makes me think that they're on some sort of Death and Taxes build. Chrome Mox in a Caracas deck. Interesting. Let's see. Is this a initiative deck? This could be like mono white initiative. That's a Stompy style deck that would play Caracas. Okay. Samwise, one of my favorite creatures. Retrofitter's fine. Okay, so they didn't do anything. I guess I'm going to surveil. I'm not going to play on basics. They're down to 3 cards already. We're going to go up the Beanstalk here. Rumble is fine. Yeah, I'll keep it. I can see Caracas being pretty useful here. Maybe they waste me off Caracas instead of wasting my more important colored source. We're in. Ponders the draw. Timeless Dragon. Got a plains. Passing. All right, they have a slow start. One thing I've noticed since the bans, like, there's just been so much more room for breathing. I love it. So I think if we can find a wasteland, it might be worth cutting them off that Caracas. Tamiyo's not going to be any good here because of their land, so I'll just take the Strand. And then this can go get the Xander's Lounge to complete our color combinations. Then next turn we'll have, we could maybe hit that Mox. We could maybe hit Retrofitter Foundry. If you starve them of mana, oh no, they've got Ancient Tomb, okay. Well, this is going to be a force if they cast a Seasoned Dungeoneer for sure. I don't want the initiative introduced. It's going to be a while before I can attack. I think our deck is not cold to initiative because we do have Endurance that comes out pretty quick and surprisingly. And of course, Murktide later in the game. 4 mana. Witch Enchanter. Well, I'm going to go ahead and force this. I don't want to lose my Beanstalk. So we get a draw trigger. Okay, we just drew a land. I'm definitely looking for a Brainstorm, but I am going to go ahead and get my... I think we hit this. They don't have a lot going on. Let's get the Lounge. Options. Could see what we find first. We actually need to get a Tundra if we want to be able to do this for 2 mana. Endurance is nice because it deals with the Timeless Dragon. I can't cast it this turn, so they might bring it back. I'm going to keep it on spec. Now I can just go, I'll go ahead and do this now and keep our mana up. It doesn't really matter. I'll see what I'm going to draw here. So I'll go get Savannah. I'm going to go ahead and bind the Thopter Foundry, draw trigger. Loam, okay. That'll be good if we can find the Wasteland later. They may play multiple Witch Enchanters. Yeah, I'm just going to pass. Next turn, I'm definitely going to cast Endurance. If they don't Timeless Dragon, they may Timeless Dragon. Timeless Dragon isn't that big of a deal. Seasoned Dungeoneer, this is what I was talking about. My goodness. Okay, well, this is going to resolve. They're going to get the initiative. I'll just Plow. I should probably Plow now because I am planning to Plow this. And I don't want them to be able to go get Touch the Spirit Realm. They would have mana to do that. Okay. It's a very minor thing, but Touch the Spirit Realm, you can't really interact with that. All right. So let's, if we ponder, yeah, we still have lots of stuff up if we ponder here. Looking for a Wasteland. I mean, Leyline Binding number 2 can deal with stuff. I think I do want this Murktide. But I'm gonna go ahead and Endurance now before they get the ability to do anything. Let's see. Actually, the right time to do it is at the, there's not really a window where I can eternalize, prevent them from eternalizing. Just gonna go ahead and cast this now. Hit their graveyard. I don't think it's worth hitting this Mox. They've got tons of mana now. So they're probably gonna lost well. I've got so much life that it wouldn't make sense to try to trap me. So I get to Surveil. And you can wait and hit after they forge. Then you're like, all right, now I'll exile your creature. But my thinking was Touch the Spirit Realm is such a blowout if they have it. It basically flickers their card and it's uncounterable because it's an ability. Okay, they kept 2 top cards. Tons of mana, so much mana. What are they going to do? The Angels? There it is. Touch the Spirit Realm. What did I tell you? So I can just let this happen. They're going to hit my Endurance, and then end step, I'll just Leyline Bind it. Yeah, they would have blown me out hardcore if I hadn't played Disciplined. Okay. All right, do you have a second piece of removal? Because you're going to need it. Draw trigger. I'll get my Merc here. Okay, Leyline Binding comes in. We're going to hit your touch. All of this brought to me by freaking card advantage from Beanstalk. Beanstalk has been ridiculous. I'll just, I don't care. Okay, they've got 1 card in hand. We're getting ready to have 4 cards in hand, or 3 cards. I'll just go ahead and do this now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll leave a force in there just in case like Tamiyo gets loose later. Okay. Yeah, like I feel pretty proud of myself for quickly identifying they were on white initiative. from the Caracas. Yeah. So cards that are good here, Wrath of the Skies can potentially wipe their board and kill their creatures. Prismatic Ending's kind of bad. I mean, it can hit like a Chalice, which they probably play. They didn't have any white 1-drops. I don't think Life from the Loam is where we want to be, or Wasteland's not bad. They have so much mana. Wasteland can hit Cavernous Souls. I don't think we take it out. Against decks that have main deck Caracas, they may just have one. I don't want to take Tamiyo out, but she is pretty bad against the initiative because she can't actually deal damage. So I'll go down to 1 Tamiyo here. And we still got a removal in. I mean, these Prismatic Endings, they can't hit 4-drop creatures, but they can hit like Archon of Ameria and stuff like that. Yeah, I think those are the changes. Null Rod, I don't think Null Rod's worth it. So we still got tons of mana. And we're going to hope to Wrath and clear, Mox, Chalice. If they put one of our creatures under a Touch the Spirit Realm, we can get that back. We don't want to blow up our own Beanstalk. Here's a Wrath hand. Plow, Murktide. I think we keep this. It's risky, but like if they get the initiative, we can take it back pretty quick if we can. Because I can cantrip and then I can plow and I can fill up the yard fairly quickly. They mulled a 5. Mulling to 5 on the play. They're going to have an explosive start. And Wrath does take care of Chalice if they have that. My dream would be that they have a Mox and a Chalice. Tomb. Pass. All right, well, the good news is we're going to get to cast our Ponder. Yep. They may play Wasteland, but I'm not sure. I mean, Hedge Maze doesn't hurt. We need this Beanstalk, like based on our hand. We can Wrath for 5 and then just spend like 1 if we need to. I think what we do is we take the Beanstalk. Beanstalk is a guaranteed redraw. We do have green mana. They could have like something really powerful next turn. I think Plow is a good call. I think it's good to keep the Plow around. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to... Next turn we Plow. Okay. So I do want a Beanstalk next turn. If I Beanstalk, I'm just going to draw all these cards. But there's a situation where maybe we want to Hedge Maze away the Plow. So what I'm going to do is put the Plow on the bottom, then the Hedge Maze, then the Beanstalk. I'll draw Beanstalk. Oh no, they could have that one card that makes stuff cost more. And they would see the Beanstalk in my hand. I can't remember what it's called. It's a white, 2 colorless, 3/3 vigilance creature. Okay, that's not it. I mean, we could just not play the Beanstalk and go for a big Wrath, but that's like so many turns away. They're probably getting Seasoned Engineer here. It's worth noting that Wrath will take out the Timeless Dragon if they... Lauren of the Third Path. Okay, well, tell me you don't want to me to play a Beanstalk without telling me you don't want me to play a Beanstalk. All right, I'm going to put this in the yard just because we already have one, and I don't really care about killing Lauren. I just don't want to lose an enchantment to her. So we do have Plow up. If they play something other than Lauren this turn, like a Seasoned Engineer, I will go ahead and take her out just so I don't take a ton of damage. I've got the mana up. Surgical Extraction on Plow. Well, I appreciate you giving me a little heads up. I will remove that. I don't think that matters, but yeah, that sucks. Now they see that we have the Beanstalk. They see that we're very far from using it. I don't know that it's correct to bring Surgical in this matchup, but they didn't see the arrow, but they might have presumed that I have arrow in the deck. But in this situation, they did essentially get a 2-for-1, or a 1-for-1, because they did get the card out of my hand. They got a 2-for-1, and then I got a 1-for-1 on their creature. Okay, here is... Oh, yeah, that's fine. If you want to do that into Wrath of the Skies, I don't mind. I will wait a few turns. Okay, so options. I think we just Flooded Strand. This way we can go get... if they play out the card, we can go get the Lounge. The card being Archon of Ameria. I'll take 4. There's no big deal. I just want my Wrath to be big. Got like lots of turns. They could trap me later, which would be scary. Please play out permanents that die to Wrath. That's fine with me. I didn't fetch. That was a misplay. Okay, so at this point, next turn, we could have 5 land out, so we could take care of their thing. I'm kind of inclined to just go ahead and do this because it is a card draw, and it will coax the Aluren out of hiding. Brainstorm. I'm going to pass. Next turn, we Wrath for 3 after they've blown up our Beanstalk. Take out 3 of their permanents. 4 of their permanents, it looks like. That's fine. They did 2 damage to themselves to create that Thopter that's going to do maybe 1 damage to us. Unless they have a way to stop us from Wrathing. If they have a way to stop us from Wrathing, they may be able to win. If they don't kill the Wrath, then I will draw a trigger off of it before the Beanstalk dies. Okay, this is fine. I should have probably brainstormed just because I could have found a force for that. But I'm going to lose it anyway. Well, not necessarily. Yeah, I think that's fine. They're passing. I am going to brainstorm here just to get more cards in my graveyard. Wow. Do we even need this Caracas? I don't know that it's going to be beneficial to bounce our opponent's creatures. And these fill up the yard. I don't really need this second one. I think we can do that. And now I'm just going to go get the lounge. I'm going to go to my turn, untap, upkeep. We drew a land anyway. I'm just going to go ahead and fill up my yard. And I think this is a good turn to Wrath. Get another Tundra. We have 2 green sources. Yeah, I'll get a Tundra. Just white, Wrath. Click a bunch. Done. Okay, and we're going to pay for 3 because I want to get that Aluren too. All right. Pretty good. And next turn we can start murking. And what I'll do is I'll do a small murk and then I'll do a big murk. They have a Caracas. So it was fortuitous that they weren't able to keep Aluren in play. All right, so I think the first thing I want to do is go ahead and go up the Beanstalk here. Leyline Binding might be helpful. I'm going to go ahead and see. I do have an island I can fetch with this. With Beanstalk again. They scoop. Yeah, they know we have a Murktide coming because they saw our hand earlier with the Surgical. So yeah, that was pretty... yeah, these first 2 matches felt pretty easy. We got paired for round 3. We haven't lost a game. We're doing great. Okay, Magic Dads, a very skilled Reanimator player. This does have endurance. I don't think this is good enough. Magic Dads is almost always on Reanimator. I'm going to mull. This has a force. Has a Beanstalk. I can put one of these. I can put the Uro away. Because there is a chance that I need a Brainstorm for more action. So I can trop into Forest, or trop into Plains into Beanstalk. We'll see if they have any pregame actions. The fact that we're on the play, I think have we been on the play all 3 games? This is a huge advantage for us. So we're getting very lucky. I'm going to put away a Brainstorm instead of a Uro because Uro can pitch to both Force and Endurance, both of which are very relevant in this matchup. All right, we're going to keep this. We will bin the Brainstorm. This is good because, you know, they could always have Cabal Therapy. And if you have 2 copies of, sometimes Reanimator decks will play Cabal Therapy as one of their, 8 to 10 discard spells. All right, we'll pass. Uro is definitely going to get pitched here because he's really hard to bring back when you have a Plains. Like you need to have 5 lands instead of just 4. This and the Caracas are the only lands in the deck that don't contribute to what we're trying to achieve here with escaping Uro. So I'm going to go ahead and look. If I can find an Endurance, that's a coup. I would like this land, but in the current context, I think it's irresponsible to take a land because they have always played black-red Reanimator. They rarely play black-blue, but they could be on that. This is definitely the scariest fetch land you can play in Legacy. Okay, so we did get a second land. My instinct is just go up the Beanstalk here. I've never seen them not on Reanimator. Now our force... Oh, yes! That's just what the doctor ordered. Main deck Endurance... And what we can do is main deck Endurance if they've switched to playing, what is it called? It's the one where both players get a creature out of their graveyard. If they do that, then you can endurance them and you get your creature back too. It's really sweet. I will force a discard effect. Beanstalk trigger. All right. They're fetching. Don't have another discard effect. Unmask. Targeting themselves. Oh no. Oh no, Magic Dads. I'm so sorry. Animate dead. They're on one card. We have Tamiyo to rebuild. They do technically have a reanimation target in our endurance, but it's not like great. Leyline Binding. Not bad, not bad. So what we can do here is we can bind whatever they put into play. They'll target non-land permanent and opponent controls. I can still cast this. So what I can do is I can go get the Xander's Lounge. Sorry, I'm gonna get better at remembering the names of these cards. If you can hear the piano and the kid talking to the cat, those are my kids and they are home. All right, so now we're gonna untap. Man, let's go ahead and come in for a hug and we'll just pass. Pass with Clue Crack activation into potential Force of Will and Leyline Binding, which will cantrip. They have their second Surveil land. Oh, they don't have a second Surveil land. Surveil lands are really good in their deck. Clue. Another Beanstalk. Don't mind if I do. All right. Just an embarrassment of riches. Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll take the other ley line. I mean, we can still lose. I'm like laughing and joking around and stuff, but I want to be clear. Like, I'm not taking my opponent lightly. They are among the most skilled Reanimator players that walks the earth. Or should I say, that walks the plains. So, I think Magic players are supposed to be planeswalkers themselves. Okay. Okay, so I think we just go up the Beanstalk one more time. Land is a good rip. Let's come in for a hug. We can flip. Is it worth flipping? We can rebuy the Brainstorm next turn if we flip. I mean, I'm holding up double Leyline Binding that draws me 3 cards. I think it's not a big deal if I don't want to flip yet. Like, at this point, like, even if they were able to successfully reanimate Gristlebrand, I don't know that they'd be able to beat us. Sure. If they have a reanimation effect, it might actually make sense to like reanimate our Uro just to get deeper into the deck and try to find some action. We can go ahead and Uro, and then we can bring Uro back in like 2 turns. They put Uro in our yard. They are going to do that. Okay, they're entombing. So the question is, okay, if Animate Dead is their removal or their interaction, then this is fine. I can always force. I can always dig for force if they're going to try to like reanimate a Gristlebrand. Okay, so let's see if we can find a force. I think that's more important. Actually, gosh, if we just Leyline Bind, we could draw 3 cards, and one of those could be. Yeah, I'm just gonna Leyline Bind and draw 3 cards, even though they don't have any permanents. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so they are going to get a Gristlebrand here, and then I can just plow it, I guess. Okay, so they have 0 cards in hand. I'm going to go ahead and plow now. They can't do it a second time. So we need to get Savannah, so we have the colors we need to bring back Uro. I could just go ahead and Leyline Bind instead of Plow, then they don't even get the life. Yeah, because that prevents them from being able to do certain stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this now. Draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Still no force. Okay, so we'll take out the Gristlebrand. I doubt they have something that bounces that. They get 7 cards. They're 2 life. Land for turn, pedal. Okay, and they're passing. All right. So there's no card that I can draw that just ends the game here. I think it is the most expedient thing is to just play the Uro. Let's go blue, green, blue, green, Uro. Exile 1, 2, 3. I'm intentionally exiling that creature. 4, 5. We'll leave the force in the yard. Draw trigger. We get a land. Put that in. So we now have a win con. I'm trying to think if it makes sense to do anything else. Like Rumble. I don't think it does. We already played our land for turn. I think I'm just going to pass. And we have Brainstorm into potential Force of Will. They're cracking down to 1. They have to make this happen now. Okay, this scoop. Yeah, I don't know what they were digging to, but like this deck being able to survive a freaking Gristlebrand card that's so powerful is literally banned in EDH. I mean, that shows you just how good the deck is. Okay, how flexible the deck is. So I think we bring in all our interaction. I didn't see any red spells. I'm not going to bring in the Hydroblast. I presume they have them in there, but I don't think it's worth risking. This doesn't do anything. No. I mean, it stops on Mask. We'll bring in the Ground Seal. Okay, cards that come out. Life from the Loam and our Wastelands. They don't do anything. 2 more cuts. I think we cut the Plows. I mean, Plow can be a lifesaver, but it is a non-blue card. Everything else in our deck is either green or blue. Let's take a look at this. How many green cards do we have? We currently have 13 green cards, which is pretty good density. Yeah, I think we do it like this. We're going to need to get lucky. Especially on the draw now. But if we can get a hand with multiple 0-cost interaction spells, we can potentially do what we did the previous game. I mean, this is 1 interaction spell, and it digs. I don't think this is going to save us. They mold. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to hope that they don't mold to an aggressive start, because I do have a force here. I do have... I can hedge maze to find, potentially an endurance. I am going to force if they discard me, just to make them worry. Okay, that's Entomb Reanimate mana. All right, it didn't come. And if they had a discard, it might make sense to do it there, but they may be patient if they have more mana. I mean, this is what gives us cheap Leyline Bindings. I think we have to bin it. Yeah, I think we're going to hope it doesn't come to having a Leyline Bind. Let's put it that way. I need to draw more forces. At least next turn we have Brainstorm into potential interaction. They are fetching. Surveilling. Man, I want to see a show there. That looks like the craziest Cirque du Soleil type stage. Like flame all around it. Blue flame. Some serious set pieces. All right. All right. Actually, Savannah would have been good here. Okay, well, this is fine. I'm going to go with the Beanstalk. Okay, and now we have Cantrip Brainstorm, or Force of Will. I won't play the second Beanstalk out just in case I need to get an endurance. Okay. Oh, that's so good. All right. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it first just to see what happens, and maybe we draw a land that comes into play untapped. Ground Seal, trigger. There we go. So we can now Brainstorm. I think that's better, and we could even Brainstorm the Xander's Lounge away if we need to. But their traditional graveyard stuff is turned off now. Only, is it Unearth? I can't remember what it's called. It's not Unearth. There's Animate Dead, there's Reanimate, there's Unearth. There's like a bunch of different reanimation effects that are similar. Dance of the Dead. Wow, they're just still not doing anything. I'm going to chill. Plow is fine. I'm going to play this out. Now we have Leyline Binding up. We're not advancing our game plan at all. If we put Teferi out and flip her, that's basically free to do. Maybe I just play her out. I don't have to flip her yet. I mean, we have a fetch. We flip her, that's like an end game. They probably don't have a way to interact with her. Okay, so I'm going to put back my 2 Plows because I've got something better. She flips. Plus her. We'll pass. If we can wait a turn to get the other Leyline Binding or Beanstalk out, will be even better. I'm not actually sure how they're going to win. Like other than the Exhume. Exhume, that's the name of the card. Oh wait, I was supposed to freaking fetch away that. Sorry, my excellent friends, that was a punt. I can play this out. I can plus. I mean, even if I draw an endurance here, I can still just cast it. I think it's fine to play this. Oh, I was supposed to freaking fetch the other Plow away. Well, I can always Brainstorm, but I don't want to go off force. So let's chill, and I can Brainstorm later. My opponent's 2 turns away from me drawing half my deck. Their deck just completely failed to function. I have no idea what they drew over there. They haven't cast a single thing. They're unmasking me. I'm going to force. I draw 2 cards. Draw trigger. Draw trigger. Merc. That's a good card. Thought seizing themselves. Okay. Shallow Grave. Okay, so they can... we can't stop this. So I can go ahead and force them to do this by binding right now. Yeah, I'll just bind. Double draw trigger. Draw. Okay, they went in and drew down to 2. We drew another force. Okay, we're going to hit their Gris. They don't have a lot of mana. They haven't dropped a land yet, so they could play a land, they could pedal, they could Dark Rit, they could do a lot of stuff. I will force Dark Ritual, because that like opens things up a lot. I don't think I forced the pedal. They're going to need another Shallow Grave type card that gets it out of the graveyard without targeting. Like traditional reanimate type effects are not going to work. They're fetching to 1. I'm going to force that. Draw trigger. Another force. Nice. And an arrow. Okay. Unmask. Targeting me. I could force this and draw 2 cards. They're going to take the force anyway. Force of negation. All right. Tamiyo. We're getting lucky as hell. Man, I feel so bad for Magic Dads. Here's the other Dark Ritual. Sorry, Magic Dads. You don't get mana. All right. And step it is. Yeah. They're going to discard a bunch of cards. They're probably going to discard some threats. But they have to have specifically more Shallow Graves. They discard Show and Tell and Gristle. Okay, so they have Show and Tell in their deck. That's good to know about. Okay, so even though we're close to ultimating, I think we do want to get back a Force of Will here. Oh, I can only plus. I can't minus because of... That's right. That's how Magic works. So we don't really have any options other than to try to survive whatever they throw at us next turn, which will probably be a Gristlebrand that can't do anything. I'm going to play this. They could have a bunch of discard spells. If they have a discard spell, I have to Leyline Binding first. But we have lots of plows that can keep our Tamiyo alive until we draw, another 20... Not 20 cards. We'll draw about 15 cards. 16 cards. And then what I'll do is one of those cards will be Endurance, and I'll just cast that and I'll attack them. So I have to assume, because they were casting Dark Ritual, that they do have something that works. Underground Seal. It's fine. They could have like Arcana Cruelty. That'd be pretty brutal. Douthie. That's fine. Therapy. What are they going to name here? I feel like I should go ahead and plow this Douthie. It gives them life, but they may name Leyline Binding. Endurance. Okay. They don't have a way to flash it back. They're down to 5 cards. Okay, they scooped. We haven't lost a single game, and it is not easy beating Magic Dads. Oh, we had plenty of good stuff. Like we Leyline Binding, we would have found another Force Negation. Like having 4 Force Negation in your sideboard, strongly recommended. See you in round 4. All right, we're back against Likely Depths player. They have been playing as of about a month ago. They were playing this Depths deck, which is a very favorable matchup for us, provided they do not get Sylvan Safekeeper on their table. Insidious Fungus. Sacrifice, choose 1. Destroy target artifact, target enchantment, or draw a card. You may then put a land card. Okay, this is a good card. It's only 1 mana? Okay, but you have to pay 2 for the ability. So, yeah. All right. I mean, we can take it slow. So it doesn't have any plows. We can Island Ponder. If we're worried about Wasteland, they do play 4 Wastelands, 3 Wastelands, but they have lots of ways of finding them. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this. Endurance can block stuff. If we get basic lands, we are pretty guaranteed to be able to cast Malevolent Rumble to find our 3rd land drop. Okay, perfect. Well, we are in a great position for Wasteland. And we drew our basic island. I'm not going to complain about it. See if we can find a path to a white source. Oh, man, it's hard to put this back, but we do have... I mean, Karakas is pretty awesome against their deck, and we might be able to bait them into wasting us, and so... Because Karakas answers the token. We don't want to show them that we draw Karakas, though. So I think I'm going to put Tamiyo on the bottom, so I can get that with the Rumble. And then I'll just draw Karakas now, and we'll draw Brainstorm next turn. All right. Hopefully they have a slow start, and they're going to try to control our mana. Because we can play on basics for a while. Mox Diamond. Binning a Scrubland. So I do think they're on Abzan. They could have Crop rotation or some other scary cards. Do we want to go up the Beanstalk? I don't think it's right to go up the Beanstalk right now. I think Rumble's better and it fills up for Uro. So we can get like a kind of an early surprise Uro. And we know we can get Tamiyo off this, if nothing else. Leyline Binding would be fine. I would take a Plow. Oh, we can't take a Plow. Okay, so this fills our graveyard with good stuff, and it gives us a freaking up the Beanstalk deal. Yeah, I'll take that Beanstalk. If this game's going to go on for a while, I'm feeling like I'm in a pretty good position. Because we can Beanstalk and then Beanstalk again. What we could do is we could even... next turn, we could even Misty into like a Tundra, which will be a Tri-land thanks to this. And then we could Uro and then Caracas. Yeah, this is fine. They're targeting this, so I just sacrifice it and they don't get an Amass trigger. So that's fine with me. So they don't have a lot of pressure right now. Beanstalk, Bowmaster is one of the best things you can be doing against our deck, though. If this is Knight of the Reliquary, oh, such a brutal card. Yeah, we're officially in a bad position now. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Another Beanstalk. Not really what we're looking for. So we can play this out, and then we can surprise the Bowmaster with an Endurance, and they'll have to use this to go get like a thing. It's not a great plan. Their stage. So they have Dark Depths combo now. They opt not to attack. Interesting. So they must be very smart and realize that we likely have Endurance combo. Or not Endurance combo, but we have Endurance. I don't see any merit in playing it out, really. Like, it is a blocker for a turn. But they can just go get the combo, and then they can give it unblockability with Step. Oh my goodness, what do we do here? They're so smart that they didn't attack with the Bowmaster. If I go for the fetch here, there's a very good chance that they just waste. And I do kind of want to have access to that mana so I can Uro. Okay, this is another mana source. I'm going to try to see if I can bait them into wasting because I really need this Caracas to get on the table. I seriously doubt they'll go for it, but if I just go like this and Uro here to draw a card. Wait, we could Uro and gain enough life that we survive. Take a ping though, we'll drop to 20. That doesn't work. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and Uro here just to draw a card. And it is going to trigger Bowmasters, unfortunately. So we're looking for a Plow. Oh, what are they doing here? A second Bowmaster. Okay, so unfortunately that does take Wasteland off our back momentarily. Let's see what we draw here. We need a Wasteland. Xander's Lounge doesn't do anything here. We've already played our land for turn. They can just get it and make it, and we die. Endurance doesn't even block. We don't have enough mana to block with Endurance. We go up the Beanstalk and maybe find... What could we find? I don't think we have a chance because they have like a deterministic line to protect the Merit Lage. Okay, so Bowmaster was very good there. That's our first game loss of the day. But I don't think we had like zero hope there. So Wrath of the Skies can blow up Mox and Weenies. I think it's worth bringing it in. I don't think any of these other cards matter. Prismatic Ending's good. Yeah, we want that. In terms of cards that don't matter, Life and Loam being able to recur Wastelands is good. They don't actually have any recursion in their deck. There's no Loam. There's no... Yeah, so if you could, in theory, like waste lock them kind of. I know it sounds ridiculous, but they play one Plains, one Forest. That's it. Like, I'm not going to throw out, the possibility of waste locking or being able to recur Caracas every time they waste it. Endurance is a blocker. They're very likely to bring in Choke here. It's possible that Tamiyo is not good. They have Endurance of their own, I think. Let's see, how many Endurances do they have? They don't. Oh, they have 2 in the sideboard, which they'll probably bring in because they've shown Uro. These Path to Exile, they have so much exile-based removal. Force of Vigor for our Beanstalks. I don't see Choke. Yeah, I mean, Force is not great against their deck. Like, you're like 2 for 1ing yourself. But sometimes you're 2 for 2ing because they're crop rotating and they're sacrificing a land. I think Force stays in the deck. Obviously, it's hard to take it out when you have Up the Beanstalk in there. I'm seriously tempted to just cut the Tamiyos, but they are permanents and they are potential blockers in the air. I think I'm going to cut a couple Tamiyos and cut a Ponder. I never want to cut all the Tamiyos because Tamiyo just by herself is good. Like, and redundant Tamiyos are bad, but she's so strong that you can live with drawing redundant ones. They have Bajuka Bog in their deck for sure. This hand is fine. I'm going to keep this. And I'll just open with the plains. No, wait, I'll open with the Strand. Then I can surveil, play plains, and then we can go up the Beanstalk. It probably won't do anything, but it might distract them. They might focus energy on removing the Beanstalk. It might be good later. I am going to surveil, though. The main thing is I have unimpeachable white mana, which is very important against their deck because the way they beat you is they get Elvish Reclaimer, they get Knight of the Reliquary, and they take over. Yeah, that's fine. Talon Gates, that's a good card. Lush Portico. All right, and I'm going to surveil myself. And I actively hope that they waste me because I didn't show them Caracas. They could maybe presume that it's in my deck. I'm looking for land. Rumble is fine. Actually, I think instead of Beanstalking here, I'm thinking about Rumbling just because it's likely to draw me another land for next turn. But yeah, I think that's more important because Beanstalk, if they waste me, then I'm going to be sad that I don't have a land. Oh, wow. Lots of land here. I think we just take the Misty Rainforest because that can get basics. All right, great. Just like that, our mana is coming along. We've got a stacked graveyard. They see that we do play Endurance. Green Sun for 1. This is probably the sacrifice. Oh, this might be a Elvish Reclaimer. No, it's Sylvan Safekeeper. I'm going to start firing off on Sylvan Safekeeper. I want that thing dead. Holy cow. Holy cow. Unfortunately, this does mean that they're going to be able to... let's see. We could just fire one... Yeah, I think I'm going to start firing at it. They're going to sack a land, and then I can respond by plowing. So we're basically kind of like paying 1 mana to sinkhole them. We'll get a Tundra here. And we'll just go ahead and plow again. How many lands do you want to sacrifice? All right. They have sacrificed 2 lands there. So we cast 2 1-mana sinkholes. I'm going to go ahead and green, colorless. We're going to Beanstalk. Okay, that'll be good for next turn. It's good. I fetched that Tundra because I wanted to make sure we had a blue source. Plains. That's an easy thing to sack to Sylvan Safekeeper to keep it alive. What is this? That's fine. All right, so there will come a time when they don't have enough lands. They play like 27 lands, 29 lands. You know, removal. Holy guacamole. I think we just did it, folks. We're going to get rid of this thing. This thing is a total pain, and we're going to get rid of it. Let's go ahead and end. After they sack, I'm going to plow. And you may be like, are you even going to have any removal to take out their other creatures? That's a problem for later. Okay, and now I think this is a clean window to just plow or brainstorm. And then we can potentially fetch some of this away. Okay, force is good. I don't know what they could cast. Leyline Binding will be good next turn. I could just go ahead and, let's see. Maybe we don't force a will because they have so little mana. Oh, put this brainstorm back because it is a liability if they, yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and ponder here and shuffle these. I'm looking for Uro or Murktide. I think we shuffle this. I mean, it's crazy. It feels crazy kind of to shuffle that, but like there's so many good draws in our deck. Okay, so we can cycle that if we don't want to play it, but I think we probably do want to play it just to have cheap Leyline Binding. Okay, the 3 cards in hand. I think I will, like if I could find, I mean, I hate to do this because we're going to be paying full price for Leyline for stuff later, but I don't want, yeah, it feels weird to do this, but like I need action. That's okay. We are going to get a card. We're going to get pinged. Okay, we found the Merc. I'm just going to play it and we'll see whether they have a removal because if they don't, they are dead. Yeah, we have so much mana. I don't regret cycling with the Xander's Lounge. Full size boy. They have to have some sort of like plow or something like that. I mean, they certainly could have it. I'm going to take them off this land. They want to crop rotate. Endurance. That is A-okay. They want to give me a little bit of extra power boost here. Oh, they didn't. Oh, we'll swing. We're winning this race. And we have Leyline Binding if we really need it. I'd rather not cast it, but it's only 3 mana. Sajiri Step, okay. Love to see it. Don't have it. Don't have the freaking Plow. Green Sun for 1. What are they going to get? We already took out the really problematic permanent. Elvish Reclaimer, okay. This is fine. I think I'm going to hit the Elvish Reclaimer end step. Oh, that's tough. So 9, and I'm taking 6. So I just need to hit him twice. I can afford to untap and see what I draw. Endurance. I like it. That does mean that, like, okay. I'm going to go ahead and hit him. Well, I could. Okay, let's think about this. I have 1, 2. So I could buff this to 10. It doesn't change the clock at all. I think I just need to Leyline Bind to get the Elvish Reclaimer out of there. Because that allows them to go get like Maze of Ith and stuff like that. Their helmet, they'll have to hang back with Endurance. They can still attack. They can hang back with Endurance, but they won't be able to kill me. Dark Depths, okay. They are coming in. I'll hold that for after, like, next turn, I guess. I could dig for removal if they, yeah. All right, I'm just going to chill. Not going to do anything that gives them any. They have to find exactly, like, removal. Okay, they concede. Wow, Murktide getting it done. That's why I like this deck, because it is a little more creature heavy. Like, I played lots of, I experimented with a lot of decks that didn't have a lot of creatures, and you just get got by Orcish Bowmasters and cards like that. Yeah, so Tamiyo, I think, is perfectly fine sidelined here. Wrath would have been great there. Wrath for 2, like blow up their board. Wrath for 3, I guess. Yeah, so we're definitely keeping the Wraths in. Let's run it. I love these types of matchups, like fair matchups. I don't mind going against Mono Black Reanimator once in a while, but like this is what I live for, is like the chess. This is a Wrath hand. We have Force. We have Malevolent Rumble. We don't have a green source. I hate to say it, but I don't like this hand. It doesn't have... I mean, it has a sweeper, but we're at least 1 card away from that. I mean, we are able to force to... We have an island to lead on. I mean, Karakas is certainly good against them, but it's only good against exactly the card. And if they just Elvish Reclaimer, we don't really have any recourse. I'm going to mulligan this. This hand has a lot of the same issues. Sadly, I think we mulligan this too. Okay, and this is a hand that we can keep. So I'm going to keep... I don't like Hedge Maze. Like, I know it gets us closer to where we need to go. I do want both the Beanstalks. Maybe that's greedy. Maybe I just keep 1 Beanstalk. I can put this away. Like, the card I'm most likely to draw is land. Got 21 lands in the deck. And I've got a Life from the Loam that can turn this into a land drop. Thoughtseize? Green Sun. Okay. Yeah, I love it when my opponent uses Green Sun to get this. I think this card is so inconsequential. I think this is like one of the most overrated like Green Sun targets. Okay. I mean, we could Surveil. I don't see any downside to playing this. The downside is they're playing Opposition Agent, which they're not. Green Sun for 1 this time. Okay. Yeah, can't do anything about that, sadly. This is going to be the Reclaimer, which just unlocks their entire deck. Like, oh, Sylvan Sapekeeper. Okay. So now we need to find Wrath. I am going to Surveil. They could have Wasteland, but we'll at least get a up the Beanstalk first, and we'll get a look at land number 3. Blue card, yeah, I'll keep that. All right, and we get a free window of using Beanstalk before Bowmasters arrives. Draw trigger. Survey says Wrath of the Skies. Uro, not bad. I think Uro might be the pitch to force instead. I imagine they have a lot of plows. They probably have Path of Exile in their deck as well. Like, they probably brought that in. Maybe not. Sylvan Sapekeeper is scary. Sajiri Step, that's fine. They didn't even have to sacrifice a land. I will force Reclaimer. I'll force... I think actually this is a force. My reasoning is we get a card and we stop them from seeing our hand. Uro... Yeah, I'm going to keep Murktide because it has positive interaction with Uro. I don't like doing this, but they could Bowmaster this. Okay, they didn't. All right, and we have another basic. That's great. Okay. Prismatic Ending on our Beanstalk is fine. They can attack for 1. They're down to 2 cards. Leyline Binding is going to be useful once we find the White Source. Maybe I should have just in case I drew the like a fetch that I could go get the white source. Okay. We're still pretty far from casting those, unfortunately. So we're just going to chill. But our opponent has 2 cards in hand. A fetch, and then we could have 4 mana. Yeah, we could cast it next turn if we draw a fetch. Assuming they don't waste us. It's worth noting that we're pretty far from Wrath. We need 2 white sources for Wrath. Gaddock Teague is uncomfortable. They could just do us in with Winnie Beats. I'm going to brainstorm. We're going to hope to hit a fetch. We didn't, but Rumble's good. I can put these back. I don't really want them now. Rumble enables us to... I'm going to go in Rumble. This fills up our yard. I think we take this. We have Loam now. We just ignore Leyline Binding. They could definitely like crop rotate for a graveyard removal spell. I think maybe we do want to take the Leyline Binding just because if we clear... No, I mean, we're never going to be able to clear this is the thing. It's never going to be castable. If I take the land, it does make it so we can Uro escape pretty quickly. I just think the odds of us not getting like crop rotate into Bojuka Bog are very low. I can take this Leyline because we're just going to get this land next turn off of Loam anyway. Let's see. If we Loam, then we can't Uro. No, we can Loam into Uro. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. I'll take the Leyline Binding. All right, and with that, we will pass. We get the extra mana too. That is kind of nice. We can always throw that in front of a blocker. Like, we can use it as an emergency blocker. Oh, I'm worried about Bojuka Bog. Very worried about Bojuka Bog. If we can find a wasteland, we can start wasting the colored mana sources. And that will put pressure on them to, Sylvan Safekeeper. Or it may be able to eventually remove their ability to comfortably Sylvan Safekeeper. By the way, there's a very cool story behind the guy who's pictured in this card. He played like the jankiest deck in like one of the early tournaments with like spiders and stuff back in like the 90s. Okay, and this is what I was talking about. They're going to Bojuka Bog us. There's a scrub. Yes. Yeah, there's the Bojuka Bog. Okay. Well, taking the Trop would have actually been better in this specific situation, but they don't have a wasteland, so we can bring back Uro. I'm just going to take 4 here. They have 1 card in hand. They did 2 for 1 themselves when they cast that. All right. Their last card could very well be a freaking... I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to Uro, and then I can brainstorm if they have... Bowmasters is their last card, which would be a heck of a last card, by the way. Like an unremovable Bowmasters, that would be sick. Okay. Uro's dead. Now I'm going to brainstorm. I would love to find a fetch so I can just shuffle away these ley lines. Xander's Lounge is not bad. But again, we're never going to be able to cast it. I think we just lounge here. No, wait, we can cycle Lounge next turn to get a card into our graveyard. I think that's better. Put these back. Actually, they could have Wasteland. Or Thoughtseize. I'll do it like that. Now I'll play this, and I'll pass. We're not under any real time pressure here, and I do like keeping the Eldrazi spawn just because maybe later it can block like a bigger creature, like a Knight of the Reliquary or something like that. I'm not confident that we're going to win this game, though. Well, actually, with even 2 cards in our graveyard, we can cast a Murktide. Oh, they freaking had it. This too. Okay, well, that's not good. Yeah, if I had played out the Xander's Lounge, I could cast Murktide this turn just as a 3/3. I'm going to play out Tamiyo, and she's going to block. She can block a Gaddock Teague. I think Xander's Lounge being able to tap to cast Murktides 2 turns in a row is better. Is better than cycling it. So next turn, we'll Murktide and we'll draw a card. And we'll hope to get into a position. Like, if we can plus Tamiyo, that's quite good, actually. If we could somehow flip her. Ah, they're scared of us having endurance. I would love it if that's what was going on here. All right. Yeah, Tamiyo going into the graveyard does make it a little easier to cast from Murktide, but I'm going to live in the world where we can somehow draw a card and flip her. So I'll just block 2 and I'll take 5. So we're basically on a 1 turn clock here. It'll be less bad once my Merc is out. If they have the Bowmaster, it's a crushing blowout. Draw trigger. Wrath. Holy cow, Wrath is so freaking good here. Oh my goodness, we're going to live, my friends. I think we're going to live if we don't die this turn. I think it'd be hubris to attack with Tamiyo. We're just going to use her to block a little bit of damage. Now they can really only attack with Endurance. And I can just... see, we can't flip her, unfortunately. Okay. They can use that to attack my Merc. Can they kill us this turn? I'll be so sad if I freaking die. They can crop rotate. Okay, what are they doing? They can phase out that. And then when they attack with Endurance, it kills this and we die. So sad. Oh, the tricks they have. I have to say I'm very impressed. Yeah, Endurance, when they attack, it kills. And then we take lethal. Yeah, we were one turn away from wrathing. I'm trying to think if like there was a different sequence where... okay, let's say hypothetically I'd taken that land instead of that Leyline Binding that we didn't think we would ever realistically be able to cast. Yeah, there goes the trophy. I was really hoping a trophy. All right, well, and I do think that we just lost a favorable matchup. All right, final round's already up. Let's do it. Charble. They're playing 4-color Aluren, and they've been playing it regularly. This is from a few years ago. But Aluren is one of my favorite decks. I know I said that about every deck, but like I really loved... I jammed it at a big like 10K event and just had a blast. It was like a 5K. So against an unknown opponent, I mean, this is pretty good. We got the Tamiyo combo. We've got Loam lock potentially. If they are playing a lot of non-basics, we can just waste them and then start Loam locking them. I like it. I'm here for it. I'm not going to play the Tamiyo out. I'm just going to learn more about what they're doing. Because it could be that we need to emergency brainstorm into a force and Tamiyo would be our blue pitch. Okay, Verdant Catacombs. Fetch. Please get a non-basic. They got a basic. Oh no. Is this Pox? Therapy? Yeah, fine. I am going to let this resolve. They always name Force, but if they name Brainstorm, they'll get paid. Yep, they name Force. Okay. Well, we can just Tamiyo and immediately flip her. I don't hate that. I'm going to go get Surveil Land here. I don't think that's what we're looking for. I could be wrong. I mean, the fact that they have the therapy in their deck means they probably have creatures. My instinct is to bin this. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Tamiyo. And we're going to like get a no value Tamiyo, basically. They have like, you know, Shieldred's Edict or something. We just immediately lose her. I'm going to put Wasteland on top of my deck with the goal of loaming it away. Actually, yeah, we don't really have a good way to get Loam into our graveyard. Holy guacamole. Well, I can shuffle it away. Wasteland is more likely to be useful than this Tundra. Yeah, I'm going to do this. If they are on like a Pox type deck, then we can force their removal effect, and then we can just start loaming so that we always have stuff to discard. If they're on a Pox deck, I feel bad for them. But like, I'm trying to think of what other types of decks they could be playing. Like Sink into the Chain of Smog combo. They could just be on like a reanimation strategy. They could be on Aluren. I mean, like I haven't seen Cabal Therapy in Aluren, but Bug Aluren is pretty powerful. They were playing 4-color Aluren. They played it for like more than a year and a half. It's a lot. I mean, Uro is quite good. I don't really want to pitch him to Force. We'll see what they come up with here. Uro is really good against black decks. Oh, this deck. Okay, well, this card basically has to be forced. I mean, let's think about this. They give us a ton of mana. What's the worst that could happen? They can flashback therapy and take our... yeah, I'm just going to force it. So this is Nick Fit. Very cool creature-based deck that focuses on getting Veteran Explorer into play and then sacrificing it to Cabal Therapy. Okay. All right, so I don't think Wasteland is going to be great. I kind of want to rumble. We know that we have at least one land on top that we could find, so we're not going to completely whiff, but like the odds of us whiffing are very low anyway. I'm going to play this out. Yeah, I'm going to rumble. Caracas doesn't really set the world on fire. Sometimes the rumbles are really underwhelming like this. Like, more land when you already have a land. Caracas, I think they do play some legendary creatures. Questing Beast is legendary. Yeah, I'll take the Caracas. Right, and I think we just plus here. We've got a blocker, a chump blocker. That's like another like little synergy of the deck is now like we have a chump blocker. So even if they have a hasty beat, like they can't necessarily get through this. Of course, what's it called? The Questing Beast would get through this. Okay, 3 colors. That's fine. Bowmaster is certainly a cause for concern. We can't really draw half our deck when there's a Bowmaster's out, or we'll take, 30 damage, 20 damage. I imagine Bowmasters is in their Cabal Therapy deck. I would not be surprised if it came down immediately. If they play Bowmasters, what I'll do is I'll probably just regrow Plow and just get rid of it. Bowmasters is definitely the most powerful card, I think, in Legacy against our deck. We saw it the previous match. They had Bowmasters, and it was pretty devastating. Okay, so we can test the water with the Ponder. I think it's okay. I like to fetch before I cast Ponder just in case. And I'm intentionally not getting my basics. Just because I don't want to find myself in a situation where they have a Veteran Explorer and we don't have anything we can get. Let's Ponder. Okay, Endurance, not good enough. I mean, it's a great blocker, but I don't want these other lands. Any order shuffle. Plow, probably good. I guess I could just Loam, so I'm doing something this turn. I could plus and Loam. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll just get some lands back. I guess I get the force back, just in case. Yeah, in case I get a chance to brainstorm back into my deck. All right, we're gonna pass. Again, I'm not gonna do this until I'm confident that they don't have a Bowmaster in hand if they tap out or black. I guess technically I can do it with a Plow, but if they have double black, then I have to worry about the possibility of double Bowmasters. Now they have double black. Brainstorm is fine. Murktide would be pretty juicy right now since they're not showing white mana. Like, Murktide is really strong against non-white decks. They usually just struggle to remove them. The cool thing is the fact that we have this out. Well, I guess technically, they could just name non-token with Shielder's Edict. But I'm trying to find like little synergies that I can. It's worth noting that they may have Force in their deck, but I don't know. I've never seen like a Nick Fit deck that's playing blue, so I don't know how many blue cards they have, but they have shown 2. You generally need probably 18 to, I would say 22 at least cards, blue cards to support Force of Will. They're fetching. We can waste one of their non-basic, okay, they got a non-basic. Recruiter. All right. Well, I'm going to draw half of my deck. I don't think you can get anything that stops me from drawing half of my deck. Academy Rector. Okay. I am definitely not going to let you resolve that. Well, I'm going to try not to. I don't want to dredge because I want to maximize the number of cards I draw here. Murktide's good. Okay. So I think we just minus here. Let's draw a bunch of cards. Oh no, don't make me click this 20 times. My goodness, this is going to make me click this every time. Okay, I have to click it, cancel every single time I don't want to draw a Loam. So this is going to eat up a little bit of clock here. Is there a way to just yield to this? No, I guess not. Okay. So now that we've done that, let's think about what we can do here. So I think we have quite a hand here. Let's see. What I like to do is I like to sort my forces just to see how many I have. I only have 1. So Academy Rector could conceivably get through. I think the play is we waste and then we murk. We've got tons of disruption. We can, in theory, just get rid of. I could play at the lounge and then we have multiple of these effects. I think it's probably actually the play. Yeah, I'm going to play it. And now I'm just going to go blue, Giant Merc. And we could protect this. I'm going to get rid of this Loam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll leave a Plow and a Force in the yard for Tamiyo. And we'll pass. They do have that Cabal Therapy in their yard, which is really funny. Because I didn't think about this, but if they Therapy here, they could name Force. I think they should have Therapy naming Force. Who cares about that random body, right? They're forcing back. Okay, so they did have a Force. Is there anything else we can do here? We don't have brainstorm. I'm just going to let this happen. Okay. You're going to go get some crazy, enchantment. That's fine. They could name Leyland Binding here. Aluren. All right. Interesting. I haven't seen this in a while. Actually, they could just go off at instant speed. I'm going to go ahead and do this now. This will force them to try to go off with whatever material they have. All right, let's hit that. Okay, kicked. Return target creature you control to its owner's hand if that creature was kicked. Okay. That doesn't matter. So that comes in. Okay, and now I'm just going to do this a second time, which I believe breaks up the combo. So now they can search for something, but they're not going to have the combo. Okay, so now they get to search. They can go get something to stop me from killing them, I guess. I don't think they can win anymore, though. Oh, I should have freaking endurance them while I was at it, because I had free endurance. Okay, so this fizzles. Okay, and now they can name Plow. So they are on 4-color Aluren. It's just that, I guess if I looked at the deck list, I probably would have seen that they had one Veteran Explorer. Is that it? I figured that was a big part of their game plan. Yeah, they're playing 4 therapies, 2 Bowmasters. Okay, so that's it. All right. Now I think I just see how big can I make Murktide. 1, 2, 6. So currently it's 14. So I just need to brainstorm a couple times. I'll ponder, and then I can just endurance myself. I'll any order shuffle this. I'm looking for forces. I should still have a force in my deck. Let's see, did any get exiled? Yeah, there's one force left. I'm gonna go ahead and brainstorm here. I'll brainstorm with this. Okay, we still didn't find it. Don't really care. I may be making a mistake endurancing the way I am, but I'm pretty sure they can't. They could have Solitude. If they have Solitude, they win. They don't necessarily win, but we don't win. So I'm just going to exile my own graveyard. Or put it on the bottom of my deck, which will create a bunch of Murktide triggers, which should be lethal. If I did my math right. 1. Okay. Yeah, exactly lethal. Assuming they don't have Solitude. Which I wouldn't think they would have Solitude. And then... okay, yeah. And they burned up a lot of our clock doing all that, but yeah, it worked. Okay, cool. All right, Aluren. Well, Wrath of the Skies I think is pretty good because they have a lot of creatures in their deck. Prismatic Ending is potentially good if they just park a creature out there that we can kill. Spot Removal is definitely at a premium. I don't think Force Negation comes in. Lavinia stops all spells. Yeah, this stops the combo. That's coming in. My opponent says what we learned in 5 cards is pretty close to 26. All right. So I think Loam is not going to be a part of this. I don't really like Wasteland here. I think they probably have 0 tech lands. Yeah, it's all just mana and tons of basics. Yeah, I don't think trying to go after the mana is going to be very effective. Do they have any legendary creatures? Yeah, they have a Leavold. That's the only one. Oh, they have Uro. Yeah, I think it's worth keeping the Crocodile, not just to defend my own. Endurance is, a potential beater that can stop them. They don't have Karakas in their deck. I think we could probably leave the Tamiyos. I like Murktide's ability to end the game before they get their inevitability. So I think that's good. They're a slow deck, and Tamiyo's really good against slow decks. I'm just trying to think of what we take out. It's not clear to me what we take out because all these cards are so good. I guess we could take out an Endurance just because it is it doesn't do anything against their deck, I don't think. It clears their Cabal Therapy. Is that really worth it? Yeah, I think I just submit with 1 Endurance. I'll be stunned if they are able to aggro with terrible cards like these. They do have, almost nothing doesn't need combat damage, basically. Let's take a look at this hand. This is a Beanstalk hand with lots of land. I think we keep this. It's got a Plow. Take a few turns to set up. We're in a pretty good position. Okay, I'm pondering. Okay, Wrath seems like a pretty good draw. I'll Surveil here, and I won't use my cantrips. I'll wait. This way I can, brainstorm, If they therapy or something like that, yeah, I'm going to go get my surveil land. There is definitely like some risk of like back to basics. What do they play? Do they play any anti? Yeah, I don't think we're likely to have any problems with that. I will hedge maze just to surveil, but I can play basics from here if I want to. I don't think we need that. Yeah, we just get a ton, or maybe we get a Savannah here, because I think it's unlikely they take out our land. And then even if they have, this is a window where we could Beanstalk. Malevolent Rumble is safer. I'm going to Rumble. And the reason I'm going to Rumble is they're very clearly representing Bowmasters, and I suspect they have several in their deck. Okay, so Xander's Lounge, not the worst. This is our chance to get it if we want it. Crocus. I think we probably just take the Tamiyo, and I can flip her, and we can wait on... Yeah, I'll do that. I'll put a bunch of cards in my graveyard. These are good for Uro food later. I hope they instep Bowmaster. Surgically my Force of Will. That's fine. That sucks, kind of, but they're going down a card here. It does kind of suck to be without Force of Will against a combo deck. They see my Wrath. They're not going to play They're not going to play a lot of material into a Wrath. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and Tamiyo Brainstorm next turn. Actually, I can't do that because I don't have a second blue source. So we have 0 counter magic left in our deck now. That was the only magic we were playing, the best one. There's the Bowmaster. I am just going to do this so they don't get the mana. Or they don't get the mass. And we're just going to take our time. I mean, like, Wrath, hitting that alone is pretty good. If they play anything else out, I'll be happy to kill it. Arctic Murktide, or Merfolk, yeah, that's fine. So that is part of their combo. I think they can probably still win without it. This is a window where we can just go ahead and Beanstalk and Tamiyo. I think that's fine. I do have to get a second land here. I'll get a Tundra, so we have 2 of each of our colors. We'll go green, colorless, Beanstalk, draw trigger, and we will play a Tamiyo here, and we've got a giant Murktide coming into a Beanstalk next turn. If they don't have their Bowmaster out, that's going to be pretty good. They can't bounce this to their hand, actually, if they have Aluren. I'm not going to block that. I'm not a fool. Yeah, so they get Aluren here and then just win. They already have this out. If they have the Cavern Harpy, there's not a lot I can do about it. Okay, thank goodness. All right. So I am going to play this out. I'm going to go ahead and attack to create a clue. If they Bowmaster here, I can Brainstorm and flip her. Once she's flipped into Planeswalker form, I can Wrath if I need to. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And they are going to get a ping, but it's okay. Oh, wait. I don't have a second blue source. So I can't... oh, wait. I can just crack the clue to flipper. Yeah, I'll do that. Murktide comes in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue, blue. It's going to be a tiny Murktide, but it is the biggest creature on the table. Draw trigger. See if they want a Bowmaster now. Okay, they're just letting it come in, which is fine. Now, we have the option of just rumbling, which doesn't flip this, but we can flip it later. We might find a blue source off rumble. If we find a white source, then we have the... Do we have any whites? We have one... No, wait. We've been to Tundra. We actually don't have any white sources left in our deck. Crocus and Tundra is in exile. So yeah, I don't think we can safely rumble here. I do, which is sad because I do want to flip her, but I need some form of interaction. Yeah, I'm just gonna chill. Because if they put the card on the stack, yeah, this is fine. Yeah, that is totally fine. Okay. I mean, it's gonna die to a freaking Wrath just like everything else. I gotta think about this. I don't think we trade here. Because if we Wrath, that goes away. Yeah, because they could just Bowmaster and this is fine. They're probably going to go get that thing that searches for an enchantment. Accounting Rector. Baleful Strix. Okay, interesting. Well, I do want to use a Plow and Step. See, I'm going to wipe their board. Yeah, I'll just be patient here. I'm going to draw a card. Okay, Strand is great. now we have the ability to Wrath and trigger the Beanstalk one final time on the way out. Or we could just, we do want to do that. Let's see. So I have to brainstorm to flip this, and then I don't have enough mana to get rid of these. I do want to just take my time and flip them. So let's go ahead and undo. I'm going to, I guess, attack. Am I going to attack? Let's see. What else can I do here? Sorry, I'm being so sluggish. We put the... oh, wait. It's back in the deck. It's back in the deck. I can go get it. I'll just go ahead and create a clue here, and I will attack for damage. Okay, and now I'm just going to go ahead and brainstorm. Okay, and we get like tons of good stuff here. We can put back one of the Wraths. We can put back a brainstorm. She flips. We'll plus her. And now I think what I do is I just pass with the ability to crack a clue and, Leyline Bind that or Plow it. I like having a lot of interaction up though. Okay, so I think what I do here is I'll let them get debuffed. That's fine. And then there's no harm in just letting them hit her. They're both attacking her. No, they could be finished off. So I am going to go ahead and just Plow here. I should have plowed that probably, just in case they have the other card. Okay, so she's going to lose loyalty. It's not a big deal. This is probably Baleful Strix. Okay. Draw trigger's fine. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to draw, and this might bait out the Bowmaster. I doubt it. Okay. And now I'm just going to go get the domain land. We'll go to my turn. Looking for another Murktide would be nice. Uro is fine. So if we wipe these, it does slow them down a lot. We do lose the Beanstalk in the process. We draw a card. I don't like tapping out of interaction. I think we could just Plow here and hit again. Let's go ahead and see if we rumble what we get. I shouldn't have tapped that way. I tapped out of 2 different white sources. That was bad. I'll take a Karakas here and I'll play it out. And now I can just Plow on this and I can swing in. Yeah, I'm not like super happy with how I played this turn. But like having Wrath of the Skies looming is pretty good. And we are winning the race. So we have the potential to brainstorm if they cast the Bowmaster. This is fine. I'm just going to go ahead and brainstorm now. Another Plow. Can't do anything with it. I'll just leave it. So I'm drawing a second Wrath here. It's fine. They're plowing. They're poking that. Again, she's going to completely blunt their assault here. They will be able to deal 1 damage to her. I just need to stay alive for a few more turns. They could have a Force in hand, which is scary because Leyline is my protection against their combo. It's also worth noting that if I Leyline now, I do lose. Because I made that boneheaded play of tapping the way I did, I should have just tapped this. Yeah, that's fine. So after combat, we'll see what they do. This is Aluren. Oh, Uro. Yeah, that's fine. I have Karakas to deal with Uro. They may have endurance, so they can endurance themselves. So we could Wrath here, and we could just do it for that, and then we could attack. See, is there a way I could get Uro in? I can't think of one. But just plus here. I do think it's worth just going ahead and Wrathing. We'll Wrath for 5. Oh, wait. Undo. I'm going to keep a white source up. I'm going to sack this. And I'll tap this. We're going to Wrath like that. This will trigger. Oh, yeah, this is going to trigger the Bowmaster one more time on the way out. Okay, they get a Bowmaster ping. This goes off. I'm going to do 3. We get rid of their board. Now we can come in for a quick attack. And I'll clear my graveyard and do more damage later. It's not like super duper necessary. The important thing is I have both Plow and Leyline binding up. If they just bring back Uro, I'm totally fine with that. I can just Plow it. And they'll gain a ton of life, and I'll just beat them down over the course of a longer game. All right, they're playing Aluren. So I'll wait till the first Aluren trigger goes on the stack, and then I'll attempt to bind. This does give me a convenient way to put Uro into the yard and draw a card. which could be a second ley line. Oh, they're just bringing this back? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Draw a card. All right, I think the simple thing to do is, even though it does like make the game go on a little bit longer, I'm just going to plow this rather than crocusing it back to their hand. Okay, so I think now I'm interested in just getting my own Uro down, and then I can escape him later. It'll be another turn cycle. Or I could ponder and maybe find another. Let's see, I've got 2 blue sources here. I'm going to try to look for another Murktide. That'll help me close the game faster. These cards are fine, but they're not what I'm looking for. Okay, Island is good, actually. Yeah, I think the simple thing to do is just go up the Beanstalk here and attack and pass. Oh, there's the Merc. Okay, so we could Merc, and then we just have... Oh, wait, we don't have enough blue anymore. I think it is worth trying to find another Leyline Binding. See if we can find it. Lavinia is actually pretty good. We don't have blue to cast her. I'm going to any order shuffle. No. I think the correct action here is to... we could rumble into her, but then we only have 1 card up anyway. Yeah, I'll just rumble into her. Yeah, I'm not happy with how this game is transpiring. Like, I feel like I've been like vulnerable way more than I want to be. Okay. Now we can go in for a hug. We're at 5 minutes. Yeah, I could definitely lose this one. Plus, oh, I could have minused to get a plow. I don't think it matters because I've got the Leyline Bind up. We'll see if we're dead. They did draw a lot of cards last turn. Recruiter. They don't have mana to cast the spell here. We'll see what they get. If they get Cavern Harpy, that's scary. The scary thing is the fact that I don't have a way to kill them next turn. Aether Channeler like essentially draws infinitely or bounces a creature to my hand. I'm fine with that. They're creating a bird? Oh, only permanent to his owner's hand. Yeah. So I think we Lavinia and we Merc. Lavinia. We're going to go blue. Blue. Murktide. Draw trigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just click really quickly here. Blue, blue. 4 minutes on the clock. Like, if we lose this game, we quite likely will not have time to play the next one. Lavinia is insulation a little bit. More Leyline Bindings are good. Okay. Go ahead and attack. No real point in pondering. We can just Leyline Bind to remove stuff. I think with double Leyline Binding plus the ability to potentially draw another one or Plow, we can break up their combo. They're like super duper dead to either of our dragons. They can't force. Said I should have put Nadu in my deck. This card is bad. So by this conversation, it makes me think that my opponent has because they're going to need this time to win the game. If they go to a game 3. So I think they basically conceded. We're just chatting back and forth about the viability of Aluren in 2025. It's certainly more viable than it was a few days ago. All right, GG's. So that is the 4-1, and we lost only to Abzan Depths, very adeptly piloted. I have Rector and Veil sitting in my hand, no therapies. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at the deck. Performed great. It felt amazing the entire time. There were some touch and go moments where I was like, am I going to run out of time? There's another Legacy Showcase qualifier. Huh. I'm going to need some points. Oh, wait, I don't have a championship entry. No, I haven't qualified for it. Okay, so let's take a look at the deck again. Murktide came up really big, in just allowing us to turbo and close the games quickly. This is one thing the traditional Uro builds, especially there was a build that JTL 005 was playing for a while, the creator of Espervile, or certainly the popularizer of Espervile. He was playing a deck that was like Yorion, and the only win cons were Yorion and the 4 Uros, and it was incredibly defensive. And I don't know how he was winning, but he was winning challenges and stuff with that. For me, I'll go to time if I try to do that. Yorion is click intensive enough. I encourage you, if you play this, just to get really good at using the keyboard shortcuts and custom bind them. So you're not having to reach up and hit the number keys. Like I got all mine bound to like ASDF. And then I have Z for undo. Lots of things like that. And then I've just gotten really good at like the right click menu and being able to, yield to different triggers and stuff like that. So if you're going to play a deck like this, it's incredibly powerful, but it's also incredibly important that you play decisively and fast, which means practicing a lot. And I'm not saying that I played like decisively and fast, but man, I am worlds apart from where I was like a year ago playing these types of dirtily controlled decks. Like I think I've gotten a lot faster and a lot more decisive. It does get really complicated late in the game when you're really far ahead and you just like have so many cards in your hand, so many options. Like, should I bother pondering? And you're having to like figure out how you're going to sequence like your spells to maximize your mana and stuff like that. Or if you, heaven forbid, you get like a carpet out, your opponent has a bunch of islands and you've got like just so much mana. It can be kind of embarrassing and you can feel like you're playing super suboptimally because you're having to make a lot of decisions really quickly in order to progress the game state. And your opponent's just sitting there. It kind of sucks. But I will say for people who get good at not only managing themselves, but in paper, you don't get the chess clock. You have to manage your opponent. Like what I do is my technique for when I'm playing like a control deck against somebody is I have the clock right in front of me and I say 32 minutes on the clock. If they're like taking a minute to think about a ponder, like if I feel like they've taken too long, just politely reminding them, okay, we've got 29 minutes left now. And Bosch and Roll is much more aggressive about that sort of stuff. Like if somebody doesn't stack their Doomsday Pile in 3 minutes, he's like, judge. That's what he advocates for doing. And I don't generally do that. I don't aggressively call the judge. But if I were in like a high stakes tournament and I was playing a deck like this that really needs every minute of the clock to win, you better believe I'd probably step up my advocacy for myself a little bit and try to get... So I think no rod is unnecessary is one thing. Like we didn't run into a single matchup where it was good. And Lavinia was good in that final matchup, but it sounds like they had a kind of a non-functional hand anyway. I definitely think you could play something else. Wrath of the Skies feels very good. I think it's way better than Terminus. And the reason it's way better than Terminus is it's flexible. You don't need to like set it up or anything like that. And it hits lots of other stuff too. Like this is just really powerful against artifact decks. I think what I'd probably do is just add another prismatic ending and get rid of that because like artifact decks, like they've already got Wrath of the Skies to contend with. So I don't know that we need more. I just marvel at the fact that like all of our matches, even the blue-black or the mono-black Reanimator, like those went pretty long. And part of that is my deck just takes a while to close. But a lot of that is like, I think Magic has become more interactive and I just am so thrilled at the ban decisions they made. Of course, like I advocated for Entomb getting banned and stuff like that. And we'll see whether Troll getting banned really does like remove the S tier deck from contention and make it like a beat deck. Like for many, many years, Reanimator was just like a deck that some people played because they like that style, but it wasn't like a tier deck. And I do worry that, it will become a tier deck again every time they print a new character like Volgavoth, a new fatty. I just get really scared that like, okay, this is what pushes. And show and tell, when they print really powerful cantrips that are really expensive, like Ancient Tomb decks are so powerful and it's really scary to be playing, I'll play a fetch land pass and your opponent's like, I'll play Ancient Tomb. I'll drop a Lotus Petal. I'll stock up or I'll play Fable of the Mirror Breaker or something like that. Like Tomb decks are very scary. And then, so you have the combo decks and then you have the Stompy decks. And then you also have the tempo decks that are squeezing you from a different angle where they're incentivizing you to get your mana. Like Control is, in my opinion, like the hardest archetype to play. I would actually probably say tempo is the hardest archetype to play well, but Control is like a different skill set because like I said, managing the clock, one thing I've learned from Bosch and Roll, just watching a lot of his videos, is he does not play decks that have like 3 arrows as the win con. Like he will want to have some endurances, some Murktide, some other things, because he knows that a lot of times, like if they have some inevitability, if they've surgicaled your forces and you're basically just trying to win the game, you're going to need to like have a really buff Murktide to swing. And there's at some point with all the uncounterability stuff in the format, like Elvish, Allosaurus Shepherd, Cavern of Souls, even cards like Aether Vial, this deck can deal with no problem with the Leyline Bindings and stuff like that. But it does struggle to deal with Caverns reliably, or of course Delighted Halfling, which I've been indulging in myself recently. You can check out some of my Bant Beach. And that is another deck that I think is totally fine after the bans. Like, none of the cards were banned. It's probably even stronger than it was before, but I wanted to change it up and play some more pure control. And I did a survey on my channel, and a lot of people were like, yeah, play more big control decks. That's what people wanted to see. And I may play some Omnitel. I have to go get the cards. I don't actually own all those cards like in paper or in on MTGO, and they do cost money. And eventually MTGO will reopen the creator program, and I'll just be able to use a second account where I can get those. But bear with me while we wait for that to happen. I also may play some Nadu Breakfast. It is a combo deck, but it's extremely powerful, and it did win the Showcase Challenge, 285 person player deck. And I have played a lot of Breakfast in the past. It's not really my cup of tea, but people may want to watch me play it. Some people are commenting that they wanted to see it. So yeah, I may play that. But you can bet that I'm going to be playing a lot more Bant control. I say this like every time I play it, but it feels so much better than like Grixis control does or Jeskai control. Like, you just run out of cards in your hand so much less often. And just having so flexible removal that potentially cantrips like Leyline Binding really is the savior of Legacy. This card is awesome in control decks. So I'm going to keep rocking the synergy. I'm going to keep murking people, and I'm going to encourage you to keep being excellent. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.